So there have been some questions recently about what's clingy behavior versus what's healthy behavior. And there's also kind of this double standard out there that if men use clingy behavior, it's somehow romantic. But a lot of times when women do it, it's like seen as some kind of personality flaw. So today, I am going to set the record straight and we're going to talk about 5 different things that many people consider clingy behavior that may actually mean that a woman is actually really healthy for you. And so, hello, my name is Matthew Coast, and welcome to Commitment Connection. So let's get into it right now. Number one, so she gets upset when you take her for granted. So some men think that this is coming off as high maintenance or clingy because she doesn't want you to take her for granted, and she gets upset and voices something about it, or doesn't voice something about it. Either way, she gets upset. And in reality, what it means is that she respects herself and she knows that she's worth and deserves a great relationship. And the reality is, if you don't get it together, then and you don't start respecting her, she'll probably end up leaving you for someone who will. That is, if she respects herself enough that she knows that she deserves this and she doesn't want anything less than that. So number two is she's forward about defining the relationship. So if a woman's smart, she'll want to know what type of a situation she's getting herself into before she ends up getting into it. Most women in our community, a lot of women have come and talked to me about this, right? And I see women all the time who don't say what kind of a relationship they want to get into. And then next thing you know, they end up really falling for a guy and they catch all these feelings and it's a casual relationship. And then they end up regretting getting into the situation in the first place, or letting things go without finding out what he was actually looking for. And so she'll want to know what the relationship is going to be about before she gets into it. This doesn't mean that she's trying to lock a man down. It means that she doesn't want to waste her time with someone who isn't in alignment with what it is that she wants. It means that she knows her value and she only lets herself get into a situation that is going to serve her long term. And sometimes women, like I said, sometimes women get burned by this. So number three is that she wants to spend a lot of time with you. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to spend time with somebody. And I get it. Sometimes we all need space. Some people need space. Men need space. Women need space. Everybody needs space. And if you do, that shouldn't be a problem either. Just make sure that you're communicating it. Say something like, I really like you and I want to spend more time with you. It's just, I feel like I need a day to myself, right? Just say something like that. And it's, for most people, if they're intelligent and they're strong and they respect you, they will want to respect that and give you a day to yourself, and you're communicating and it's all okay. So if somebody doesn't respect that, it's definitely a problem. Sure, you might be a couple, but you're also both individuals, and it's healthy to want to spend a lot of time together. And it's also healthy to respect the other person's need for space when they need it. So number four is she's affectionate and wants to touch you a lot. And I actually think most guys that I've talked to don't mind a lot of touching from women if it's at the right time. So if he's in the middle of a project or he's working on something that's really important, sometimes he might feel like he doesn't want to be interrupted and he doesn't want to have something else that's going on that's kind of in the middle of him trying to do this, because as guys, a lot of times we're kind of single focused. And so we're focusing on something and we don't want to be interrupted. And sometimes touch in those moments can, for some men, not all men, but for some men, can feel like a distraction and an interruption that they don't want to have. And I just want to say one other thing about this too. There are some men who don't like touch a lot because of trauma or some kind of neglect from their past, but that opens up things to other types of connection, depending on what it is that he likes and depending on how willing he is to get vulnerable. So, number 5 is she's interested in your life and getting to know you a lot better. She's really interested in your life. And so there's a big difference between suffocating somebody and being interested in somebody. And it's very important to know what the difference is. And usually that difference actually has something to do with you inside, right? Like where you're coming from. Who am I being right now? What kind of a space am I coming from when I'm trying to connect with somebody? Am I coming from a space where I need some kind of connection and I'm grasping for it? Or am I coming from a space of genuine curiosity and of love and of just wanting to kind of share an experience with somebody? Those are vastly different things and they feel very, very different to a person. So when a woman is being genuinely curious about a guy, that can be a big turn on as long as the guy isn't trying to hide something. And I'm not just talking about like big things, right? Like he's cheating or he's seeing other people or something like that. It could be just small things about himself that he's trying to hide because he doesn't want to talk about it because it doesn't make him feel very good. And so more than anything, I think you need to stop and consider how something is making your partner feel more than anything else. If it's obviously turning them off, stop for a second and ask yourself where you're coming from right now, and that it might make him, and wherever it is that you're coming from might be kind of pushing on him and making him feel a certain way. And so building a connection is a healthy thing, not a clingy thing. So that's it for all the 5. Number 1 is she gets upset when you take her for granted. Number 2, she's forward about defining the relationship. Number 3, she wants to spend a lot of time with you. Number 4, she's very affectionate and wants to touch you a lot. And number 5, she's interested in your life and wanting to get to know you better.